So I've been learning how to make these YouTube videos, and I thought I'd do a little one on how I make granola. These are the main ingredients that we use. Looks like quite a bit, but it's actually way cheaper to make your own granola than it is to go down to the shop and buy the really high sugary stuff. This has no natural sugars in it, so no fructose. Okay, pretty simple. Get a tray, line it with baking paper. I always cock up the ripping of the baking paper, so I've cut that bit out. It's all pretty straightforward. Down go the oats first of all. That makes a nice base. And then comes the coconut, which is, as you can see, I'm struggling to work out where the camera is. A big lump of coconut comes out. I guess there's a bit of moisture in there. I can deal with that. Pretty simple, you just sort of move it around a little bit. This is the magic ingredient coming up now. This is what I really love. It really gives it a nice little kick. A little bit of ground coffee. Yum. And we also bring in a little bit of a chocolatey flavour to it with the cacao. This is based on a Jamie Oliver recipe, but we've made a few small changes to it. Can't spell cinnamon, so it's just cinnamon. So there's sort of the main dry ingredients. That we push it around, mix it through a little bit. You don't really need to do this because it's going to go straight into the bowl. Yep, coconut oil's really good apparently. In the hot weather, of course it's already melted, but it's a bit cool now, so we pop it in the microwave. I'm putting it in for about 15 seconds, but sometimes you have to do 2 bursts, about 30 seconds in total. Now it should come out looking like this. Clear. And then just mix that through. At this stage I usually put in rice malt syrup as well for a bit of sweetness. We also put mashed bananas in, but mashed bananas have got quite a bit of carbohydrate, so we don't bother now. And it's really just that. I haven't, vanilla essence, but I've not put in any rice malt syrup this time, and it's not as sweet. But I will put that in, the rice malt syrup, in when I make my breakfast each morning. So it's fairly straightforward, just some seeds, some pumpkin seeds and some sunflower seeds, which just add to the bulk and are also really healthy. And that's the main dry ingredients, just all mixed through. And then we get on to the chopping of the nuts. What we use, Brazil nuts, macadamias, walnuts, and almonds, pecans, what else? Just whatever we can get really down at the shop. I usually go to the health food shop and buy all that, but it's pretty expensive. You can also get these just at the supermarket. I give them a good chop. I used to do it much finer, but it took ages. Now I don't really care so much. These are the, what are these? Not Brazil nuts. I don't know what these ones are now. It's really not hard, just a bit of time. Just try and get them a little bit more chopped up. So the more you chop them up, the bigger the surface area, the larger the surface area. And so that means when you're cooking, you have to be a wee bit careful they don't burn. So that's why when you see me doing the oven side of it, a little bit cautious. I just put them in twice, fairly low temperature. A little bit sort of cautious around how hot that gets because I have burned it a couple of times. These are quite hard to cut. Those almonds because they've got quite a tough shell. Mix it all through and then put it onto the tray. As you can see, there's some big lumps there. And what I do here is I push it all the way out to the edges, make it as flat as possible and as even as possible so that when it's cooking, it'll cook evenly. Put it onto the griller, and usually round about 150 Celsius. Make sure it's all nice and evenly spaced on the tray. Don't know what I'm looking at there. And then, picking up the tray and then putting it back into the oven. It's kind of hard doing this carrying the camera as well. And usually put it in for around about 12 minutes. Yep, watch that steam as it comes out. Out she comes. Yeah, it's not quite evenly roasted or grilled or whatever. So here's Nessie. Push it around again. What I do here is bring it all into the middle. And then that sort of moves it around. And then I start pushing it all the way back out to the edges again. Just make sure it's all moved around so that we're getting the undercooked stuff to the top, because it's the top that gets cooked. And back in again, usually for around, I think, 7 or 8 minutes, depends. This batch I did was a little undercooked, but really not so bad at all. It's quite tasty in the morning, and I mix through yogurt and rice malt syrup through it, and it's a very, very tasty meal. I also bulk out my breakfast with some more oats as well. So that's what it looks like. It looks a little uneven, but it's actually quite well cooked, and it's quite hot there. Yeah, lots of fun.